Hey guys, Jonathan here, and I have the brand new Lego Black Pearl and the original Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean here in front of me. I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Steve for letting me borrow his original Black Pearl, which unbelievably he just opened today. It was sealed and he opened it just for this video. Well, he wanted it on display in his collection too, but it was a special occasion, so shout out Steve, who's on the other side of the camera right now. Now, both of these sets are very, very different. Although they depict the same ship from the same line of movies, they are just completely different beasts. The original came out in 2011 and retailed for $100. It was much more of a play set than a display set, and retailing for $100 then, adjusted for inflation, would be about $144 now, with just over 800 pieces and 6 minifigs. Now, the new one here is going to be $380 in September of 2025. It has just under 2,900 pieces, so it's a much larger set, and it's very clearly built more for display than for play. So because both of these things try to accomplish different things, I love that that differentiates them, but in today's video, we're going to take a look at both up close. So we'll look at the minifigures last, because I think the ships are the best place to start, but we'll cut away to those figures here in a minute. But let's take a closer look at this original Black Pearl. Now, there's not a lot of weight to it. It's a beautiful ship, and as you can see, if I twist it this way, it's built with these giant hull pieces along the bottom that make for a very solid construction. We have all these giant masts and the textiles here, the fabric for the sails, which look good, and of course the skull and crossbones up top. Now, like I said, very much a play set. This had the old brittle brown, so some of the pieces actually cracked while building it. But let's take a closer look at the inside, because that's what the main selling point here is. So that you could have all your pirating adventures, we have these cannons here, which could actually be lifted up and moved into the different positions. You only had 2 cannons, but you had multiple places where you could port them, so that's cool. We had our cannon, ammunition right here, all kinds of swords, and even a fish in there. The front is a beautiful, beautiful construction display. Love that. And then as we move around to the back, actually, I'll kind of go here. These things are always awkward to film, but there's a door that opens, and that'll take you to the captain's quarters in the back. Absolutely beautiful. You can see you've got room for Jack to commandeer the ship from inside. Really nice back construction too, great angling, and just very emblematic of its time in 2011. So I think this was a perfect play set for its era. Really love this, and I think, like I said, it feels like a 2011 set. The other thing is, when we're talking about comparative value, look how cool this was. The 2007 one came with a ginormous poster that was double-sided. And man, oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen this poster, but this thing is absolutely ginormous. And on one side, of course, we have Dead Man's chest art, and on the other side, we have an advertisement for the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean video game. Man, I can't even hold it, but that is really cool. So that's the 2011, and now, of course, we have the 2025. Basically a decade and a half of innovation between it, and again, just trying to solve a very different display option here. Really, really cool set. We'll bring the camera in to look a little bit closer. The fabric on these obviously has the holes in it because it's been through battle damage, and the last set was very clearly based off of Dead Man's Chest, whereas this one is based off of Black Pearl. So they're different representations. Think like, you know, if it was like the A New Hope Millennium Falcon versus the Episode 7 Falcon, obviously there's going to be some differences. Now, up front, you can see we've got all kinds of shaping and contouring there that looks beautiful. The minifigure here is actually detailed, whereas the other one didn't have anywhere near this level of detail. We also have these anchor pieces that can drop out of both sides. They don't drop down very far, but they're really more just for the display value of it. Now, there is not a lot of interior detail here. In fact, we have a getaway boat that Jack can use either to escape or, you know, when he gets kicked off and has to walk the plank. And then we have this really beautiful centerpiece here, which can open up. And inside, that's all the more interior detail we have. There's a treasure chest that opens with 1 chalice inside, and you can see some of the cannons in there. And really, that's the trade-off, right? Like, why there's no interior is because of this amazing play function that when we click this to the side, it actually opens all the cannons in unison. Hopefully, We can see that real good on camera there, how those port windows open and the cannons all move in unison. And of course, that can be repeated on both sides. So the fact that that is taking up so much of that internal space really means that we have to sacrifice a lot of the detail on the inside, whereas the other one was basically hollow on the inside. Now, the only other internal detail we have here is around back, where we can lift up this entire back piece and see the captain's quarters here. We've got Barbossa's apple. We've got a little fish in there. Seating for Jack and Barbossa to hammer out all of their pirate deals. And look how beautiful the shaping is on the back of this. Compared to the original, it's just a night and day difference. Then these trapdoor pieces are built into the roof here and clip into this, so that we then can do a little bit of that. Now, one other detail is there's these doors here. They're tricky to open, but you can see these doors in here, and inside there are a couple bottles hanging out. But other than that, that's all the more interior detail we get. One other really cool thing is you can take the steering wheel and spin it, and it actually moves the rudder at the bottom. Now, speaking of the rudder, this is our last thing to talk about here, is we can pull the bottom of the rudder out. And then we can actually take the entire bottom of this ship and remove it from the base. It's a little tricky to do. Not super tricky. You just got to feel for the right traction point. But you can lift the ship out of its base, where you can see the base is the bottom of the ship, and it has those wooden Lego panels there. But when we put the ship on its own, now it actually looks like it's in the water, like it's floating. So I think that that's a pretty ingenious way to like build a display into this ship. And overall, I really, really dig it. Now, the thing about the new one is it's $380, guys. I mean, come on, that's a lot of money in this day and age. In fact, it's so much money, it's even knocked a couple of our minifigures over. Like, they couldn't even stand it. But I should really pay attention to what I'm doing here, because pieces are falling apart. We're at that point of the video where it doesn't even matter. I'll just fix it when we're done. But it is cool to see these side by side. I think that they just try to accomplish incredibly different things. The original was an amazing play set. The new one is an amazing display set. I think if you love one, you love both. I think they're great. But at this point in time, I think the new one definitely offers more of that display value. It's right in line with like UCS Star Wars, things like that. It's just really, really hard to get excited about spending $400 after tax on this. But then again, if you wanted to track down an original copy of this, it's currently over $400 too. I'm curious if the availability of the new one is going to affect the value of the old one, but I'm not really sure if it will, because next we have to take a look at the minifigs, and the old minifigs, man oh man, they really stood the test of time. So let's look at minifigs up next. All right, so we'll start with our Jack Sparrow comparisons here. Now, of course, the one on the left is the 2011, the one on the right is the 2025, and that'll be the trend as we go through these minifigs. Now, with these being from different movies, they actually are different costumes, so it's one of those rare cases where we are looking at the same figure, but they're wearing something totally different, so it's hard to compare. We actually do get a compass in the new set as well. It's on the boat piece here, as you can see. So I'll hold it over here. The compasses are pretty similar, but you can tell that they are different prints, so that's kind of cool. But as far as the minifigs are concerned, one thing I find kind of funny, the new Jack Sparrow uses like that Dom Toretto olive skin tone, which I think works great for Jack, but the printing on the original one actually kind of matches that better. So if we take the head off of the original and put the new head on it, I wonder if it'll actually look any good. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. It matches pretty well. So that's just kind of something funny. But while I've got the heads lifted off, we could go ahead and see what the backs of the heads look like. Both expressions are very, very similar. Of course, the 2025 one has a little bit more modern depth and detail. You can see like some shadowing around the lips and all that good stuff. But we also get the doll molded legs, which look really, really great. I love that the hat is molded into the original piece too, whereas the new piece, whereas the original is just the bandana. But beyond that, both torsos are actually very, very detailed for their respective suits, and I don't really know that one figure is significantly better than the other. They just serve completely different purposes and look great side by side. Up next, we have Gibbs. Again, different costumes from different movies, but overall, great representation nonetheless. I love that they both use the same hairpiece because that means the 2025 one had to bring this mold back. I can't remember another minifig recently that's had that, so I assume it just came back, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments. Both, of course, have double-sided heads. One side is actually a lot more calm than the other. I guess he calmed his nerves a lot in the last 14 years, but they both use the same swords. It looks like the original Gibbs is actually double-sworded, but the original one also had that very cool holster sheath for the sword. I really wish with all the parts they brought back for this set, they could have brought that part back too, but overall, both minifigs look great. The original one, I'll lift up his arm so we can see a little bit more of that torso detailing, is so great, but the modern one definitely fits in with modern Lego a little bit better. All right, Will Turner is up next. Once again, different suits from different movies and using that same hairpiece, which looks so awesome on both. I think it's amazing how accurate the expressions are and how little they changed. I mean, even like the cheekbone printing on the side there looks really great. Of course, both hairpieces can be lifted up to see the alternate expressions. And once again, it is pretty fascinating how similar those are. The old Will Turner does use that sword sheath there. He's got the pistol. Both look really great and make for awesome inclusions. So that's where the characters repeating stops, and now we've got to take a look at the minifigs that, of course, are the bad guys for each respective set. Both are really cool, getting unique legs, with Davy Jones having the peg leg and Barbossa getting amazing leg printing, and Davy Jones is one of the most sought-after LEGO minifigures ever in a retail set. Even as of this video today, a Davy Jones minifig on its own can set you back the better part of $200, which is absolutely amazing. The hat piece is so cool. It's just a giant swashbuckler hat with some great C printing on it. We can, of course, lift that hat up to see an amazing head print underneath as well. Love that. I'll show you what that looks like up close here. It's very Palpatine-esque. Really cool looking. And then, of course, we can see what the torso looks like underneath, which is absolutely beautiful too, with like a lot of that barnacle printing on it. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And this minifig, like I said, has aged so well. He's even got that little crab hand there, which looks so incredibly cool. Now, Barbossa has his gold medallion straight from the movie, which is awesome. Got his sword there, and the head can actually be turned around to show his skeleton curse side, and that looks absolutely amazing as well. So we'll go ahead and build out the crew with Bootstrap Bill as well as Cotton. It's nice that both figures are exclusive to their respective sets. Absolutely love the printing on Bill too, getting all the barnacle printing on the back of the torso and the head, and even that starfish on the front. Man, LEGO went all out. I would say both figures have about the same level of detail. I mean, both have bandanas on, both have printing on the heads. Of course, the Cotton figure doesn't have printing on the back of the head, so I guess Bill hasn't beat there. But of course, Cotton does get his iconic parrot, so I guess that kind of makes them equal in the end with all the coolness that they bring to the table. For some more crew, we have Macus and Marty. I figured since their names both start with M, they'd be good pairings here. And Macus, I think, is definitely the better minifigure, right? He's got that hammerhead headpiece. When we lift it up, we've got that printing on the back. Even on the back of the figure, he's got like that crustacean print. It's just a phenomenal minifig. Also getting that sword sheath in black, which looks great. And then, of course, we get the musket for Marty. Looks really great, but he's just a little bit more on the basic side, so not too terribly much to get excited about there. And finally, we've got two bonus minifigs that come in the 2025 one, those being Anna Marie and Elizabeth Swan. Both are really nice figures. Of course, they're both going to have reversible heads and back printing that gets covered up by the hair, but overall, great inclusions. I really wish that Elizabeth Swan had literally any other head. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say literally any other head, because LEGO's been known to make some really bad choices when it comes to, head prints for figures, but this is the same head that's been used on, like, Jyn Erso, Black Widow, and a million other characters, so getting something a little bit more unique in a $380 set would be pretty awesome. But that's all of our minifigs, so we'll keep moving on. Alright guys, well that is the full comparison of these sets. Needless to say, I think that they just set sail to accomplish different things. I swear I didn't think of that one beforehand. These things just come to me. Anyways, I really enjoy both. Of course, I love the new one. The old one has so much character and charm, but I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments, especially after seeing them side by side. I honestly think it's hard to say which one is better because they're just trying to do different things, even though they're based off the same ship. They're even different source material, so even that's a little hard to compare. But I'd love to hear what you guys think, so be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.